On this episode, I talk about the value of storytelling and things that you can do in regards to storytelling that will help you build your audience, attract different segments of audience, and also I give you an example of a story that I practiced and how I got instant results. Please enjoy. You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy. Hello, everybody. This is another episode on storytelling and the power of storytelling. And first off, I just want to address the elephant in the room and my hair. Oh my gosh, I was out shopping today. It's Christmas Eve day as I record this episode. And as everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, if you're new to the Table Rush Talk Show, first off, welcome to my pontificating, my attempts at adding value to my listeners' lives, to you, dear listener, who is listening right now. And I feel like I'm constantly walking the fine line between Mischa's narcissism and me adding value to your life. And I oftentimes divert. But anyhow, I was out on my morning walk this morning, and it started raining. The last 20 minutes, it started raining, and it started raining pretty hard. And I've got a lot of hair. I've never had long hair in my life, but I'm at coming up March. I'm at, 21 months of letting my hair grow out, and thick, curly hair. It got rained on. I looked like a wet dog. So if you're watching this on YouTube, because I've finally got the wherewithal to get all my episodes to YouTube, if you're listening on the Table Rush Talk Show via podcast, come on over and click on the www.tablerushtalkshow.com, and you can for sure watch my interviews on that YouTube channel. But perhaps my daily attempts at adding value will be there as well. But I've got the remnants of the wet dog hair look. Wet poodle. That's what it is. The wet poodle. I think I did an episode a bit ago that was about the poodle episode. What does this have to do with sales? What does this have to do with a table rush? Well, you got to learn how to tell stories. You've got to learn how to be authentic. And hopefully you find people that vibe with you. So if you vibe with me, God bless. Anyhow, telling stories. So on a few episodes of late, Russell Brunson is very much about telling stories. A lot of people are about telling stories. This is nothing new, but Russell Brunson hammers on it. Find your stories, build your inventory of your stories so that your listener can relate to you. It'll help you with your sales, what you're trying to sell, communicate your message, all these sorts of things. And I'm very lucky where I'm on a group 3 or 4 times a week. And I probably get called on to share my thoughts at least once a week. Usually, I get to share a thought. So today was just that day. Someone said, "Hey, Mischa, what were you thinking about?" And so, according to Russell Brunson and many others, but I'm going to focus on Russell Brunson because where I've really started to pay attention to storytelling again in my life, as far as trying to build an audience, trying to build an audience, and ultimately sell this audience valuable goods and services. Um, Holy mackerel. I will try to get to the point. So Russell tells the tale of how he would tell these man centric stories. And so he was getting a lot of man sales. And when he started telling a more female centric story, i.e., him and his wife were frustrated trying to have a baby. And so he started talking about the in vitro process, I believe is what it is, and how the emotions around that, and how all of a sudden the female audience started to grow. He started to sell more to the female audience in his table rushes. He would literally see in his table rush, he would sell from stage. He'd look in the back of the room who's buying. And when the way he tells it, he off the cuff shared this in vitro story. And all of a sudden there was all these women back there buying along with men. And so I've been really thinking about that a lot, because I have been telling a lot of these emotionally based stories, I think, that tend to perhaps be more interested to, sort of this, what do you call it? Just a more emotionally, I'm going to generalize, females might appreciate it more. I'm talking about, crying and emotions and finding my heart center and all these sorts of things, right? And so I've really been thinking, like, okay, like, what are some man-centric stories? And the other thing that Russell talks about is the details of the story. It's really more of what this episode is about the details of the story. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get here, but the details of the story. Tell the story in more detail, paint the picture of what was happening at the time. And so we were talking about sort of Christmas before and Christmas now, like before and after Christmases, right? And so I was telling the story about Christmases in my youth as a teenager who liked to party. And so Christmas events could be a distraction from that. So here's the story. I grew up with my father, who was a single dad. And so at Christmas time, I would drive from Wyoming to Berkeley, California to go see mom for that, Christmas week or 10 days or whatever it was. And this is the detail I added. Driving across the I-80, driving in my white Toyota pickup truck, the 1980 or 82 white tin can Toyota pickup truck, and how, I gave details about the white Toyota pickup truck, how what did I say? I can't remember. I just gave details. That was a detail. Driving across the country in this white Toyota pickup truck. And then, I had a friend there in California, so I'd go visit mom and I would be distracted doing my best to enjoy the Christmas dinner, but really looking forward to hanging out with my wild friends after. And I had the one who was a valet at the Hungry Hunter. And I painted a little bit of that picture. We were teenagers. He was valeting cars, right? And to give it more texture and more meaning. And some other details and some before and after stuff. And sure enough, out of nowhere, I get a text on the group, right? You know how you can be on a Zoom call and then you get your text. I get a text from a guy's like, "Oh my God, the 2 engine of that Toyota tin can." And we start this whole dialogue. He's like, "Oh yeah, I work on my family's farm. And so, blah, blah, blah. And then I had, we're always working on these old Toyotas." And then he said, "Did you see the episode? There's one of these car show episodes." And so I purposefully added richness to the story. And then I got a response back. And I thought that was so cool, right? To play with the story and see what the response is. And it worked. So thank you very much, Russell Brunson. Anyhow, build the inventory of stories. And as I've been thinking about this, more stories have been coming to my mind, and I need to tell more of them. Ooh, I have a great story about this corner in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, that I used to drive on, that I get to practice. So anyhow, let's work on two things. If you take anything from this episode, it's going to be build your inventory of stories, understand that the type of story will attract a different segment of audience, and that lastly, the detail that you add to the story will add emotional based triggers to it to create further connection. All right, that's it. It's Christmas Eve as I record this. You're probably going to hear this a month later. I hope it reminds you of an amazing Christmas Eve that you had with your family, or what have you. Love to all. Thank you for listening per usual. Peace out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.